About $35. He's like, how long does it take you to make one? I'm like, 2, 3 hours a piece. He's like, you should be charging that per hour and then add the
Yeah,
$35 on top of that.
yeah,
So
exactly.
now I charge 120.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about like when you start charging like serious money for at least this is just my opinion. It's that you start charging serious money for stuff. Like your true effort that went into things. It kind of takes some of the joy out of it for me for some reason.
Yeah,
It's more of a because to me it's more of a zen like experience. Like you're working on these things, and I got a regular job, so that's my escape from it. And then to charge somebody for something that I've done, that I was enjoying, I don't know. I just had, maybe I'm a true socialist in that sense. But yeah, yeah, that's how it is with this stuff. But anyway, sorry, I don't mean to talk so much, but you'll find out I'm a motor mouth, as they say. But yeah,
Okay, 150.
So we're live online, and we are on the radio. So
On the radio. So no cussing. It's 2:00.
I really do think that someone on GCPR needs to set up a Cash App, and every time somebody swears during the family-friendly time zones, put a
so we got to put $1 in it. We got to put $1 in
the
the
studio.
yes.
Yeah,
And
then we could all take like that Bora Bora vacation at the end of the year after Thomas's show.
Right.
so right.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't get to catch them in the morning all the time, but at least we're safe on Sunday nights because we're after 8 p.m.
So yeah,
I get banned on TikTok. Okay, it is 2:00, and it is time for a new show on GCPR, Model Citizen. I am your host, George Dayer. I have my hosts and co-hosts, Gilbert Floyd, the Angry IT Nerd, Trans Gretchen, a.k.a. Okay, let's see if I get this right. A.k.a. Barbie Yaga, a.k.a. Jane Wick, a.k.a. Vader's Empress. Or is it Empress Vader? Is that it? Okay.
Mistress.
Vader's
Sorry.
Vader's mistress.
Vader's mistress. Got that. I'm gonna have to get that one down. I'm sorry. And we have our newest cohort, James Lechner. Hello, James. Welcome to Model Citizen. He is not a guest. He is a co-host or host, or if I'm not around, you can, go in and
fill the gap.
do the show. So Model Citizen, the podcast is supposed to be an hour. We may go overtime. I'm not sure, but what I want, Model Citizen, because a lot of people said, well, what is Model Citizen? It sounds like a political show. It's not. It's really just a show about special effects makeup, model effects for movies and television. We'll be talking about studio scale models. We'll be talking about, we'll actually be talking about electronics and models, animatronics, sound effects, how sound effects are done. So, everything and anything that pertains to TV and movie models from yesteryear and then, today, we'll be discussing. And hopefully we'll have some guests on that we can talk to. I know some people. I know James knows some people, and we'll get those people on, and you can hear straight from the horse's mouth. So you don't have to, hear me jabbering for about an hour. So guys and girl, how is everyone today?
Good.
We're good.
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Okay.
Got a little snow today, but
Yeah, got a little snow.
Yeah.
It's 30 degrees here today. It's like summer.
Yeah, that's the thing about harsh winters. It makes you.
We can't hear you, Angry.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, my God.
Oh, my bad.
No.
I was muted.
Okay.
So
Anyway.
I was saying is that it is absolutely freezing here. Although comparatively speaking, it's not freezing. Although I'm a baby back bitch, so it's cold and it's freezing. So there. That's all I have to say about it.
You don't want me to when I'm shoveling my walk, you don't want me to save that and drive it to you. You don't want that. I thought you wanted that.
Oh no, you can keep that there, madam. You can keep all of that right there.
We had some snow last night. It's 30 degrees here, so it's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. And if anybody understands that, that is a nautical term. So
Yeah. Oh, I know
brass
plenty.
monkey.
I won't say them here.
Has anybody built any models? Has anybody built anything? I know Gretchen was going to build a Star Trek model. Oh, there you go. Constitution
building.
refit.
I have had this model, so I gave away some Star Trek memorabilia that I had a few years ago when I moved into this apartment. I was downsizing, and the guy I gave it to, he bought me the AML version of the Enterprise refit, sent it to me. I've been sitting on it forever. When you brought up the idea for the show, I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to start working on it. So right now, I'm just kind of shaving off the pieces, so they're ready to be painted. And we'll do all of that on the show. So that's my excuse for the show, is to make this model throughout the movie.
So we've been doing the last help desk. I think it was. I showed a lot of my models and showing the Hoth base from Jersey Fest. I think that's where I met you, James. I met you at Jersey Fest, didn't I?
No, I met you at Steve Neal's. Remember?
Oh yeah. No, but I remember meeting it. Wait, did I meet you before?
I met
that?
I met you first out at Steve's. I was like, because you were what's that? Interning with him.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then it was like the following, and I think when you finished with him, then I found out you.
Oh
were,
yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute, you're the guy that I met out at Steve. So yeah. No,
Yeah, that's right. I met I met you with Tony Hardy and with Mike Scott. Mike Scott brought his 2001 space helmets. I was like going.
Were you there? You weren't. Oh no, that's right. 'Cause Steve hadn't started on his Moonwatcher mask at that point yet.
Right. Yeah. I was helping him with the Moonwatcher mask. We also did the Iron Giant. We did some Star Trek models. I know Steve was doing the Voyager. We did the 1/350 scale Katinga, Klingon Katinga, from Nyson models, and then we did what was the other one?
He was working when we were there. I think he was working on the Discovery, the Polar Lights, the big one that had just come out, and I think he was fooling around with the lighting on that. I think.
Yeah, the Discovery was. We had did the initial stages of the Saturn V space station that Steve was going to do for Adam Savage.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I remember going. I remember going to Lowe's because I used to go to Lowe's. For the home improvement, and I remember getting some pieces for him. He's like, "Oh yeah, we could take these pieces and we could put them." And I was basically getting those pieces for the Iron Giant because he was doing. He did a 6 foot tall. Model of the Iron Giant, which is actually in his showroom right now, and I was making those pieces for him.
I could have it inside my door. I'm sure you guys have seen the movie FX.
Yes.
Remember that movie years ago?
Yeah.
And when you come in the door, he had that big monster.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I would have the Iron Giant like right inside the door. So
I got a funny
Right,
story
absolutely.
about having things like that in your house. How they can be pretty effective for security purposes. But I'll save that story.
All right. I've been watching Lou Damaso, the Aztec Dummy on YouTube. He has a channel. He just acquired a full-size Dalek from somebody who built it for him. So I guess it was a commission job. But he'd been the one thing he does a lot of models on his channel, on his YouTube channel, and shout out to Lou Damaso, who we have to actually have on the show. He was doing Randy Cooper's Sandcrawler model kit, I think that model must be in the $2,000 range. That thing is huge. I think it's a one. It's not 1/350. 1/350 scale. It might be 1/350 scale. It's about 2 or 3 feet long, and it has provisions to make it into a remote control model. You could do, that, but he was showing it's all done. It's all done in resin. It's all cast in resin. But as you know, with resin models, when they come out of the mold, they shrink a little bit. Some of the areas, because it was in the back of the Sandcrawler, there are some angled pieces. There's like angled sides that angle toward where the engines are, and those pieces were off. So if you watch Lou's, like if you watch his video, he shows you how to write those pieces, how to make them right again. So, but yeah, the Randy Cooper kits are good. But they're expensive. They're in. I've seen Randy Cooper did the Mandalorian kit. I don't think it was the Razor Crest. I think he did a Razor Crest kit. He also did the souped up Starfighter, which the Mandalorian now flies with Grogu. It's the one.
Yeah, the Nubian Starfighter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Nubian Starfighter kit. So, I couldn't think of it. I'm old. Sorry. The head's going. I can't think of these names anymore. So, thank you, Greg.
I'm looking at some of his models online. These are fantastic.
Oh, Randy,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah, his kits are pretty cool.
Yeah.
big one.
Lou is actually working on I believe he's working on the Shadow Interceptor, which is it's a 3D printed kit. It's very large. It's a one
that.
Okay.
1/12 scale.
Yeah, I've printed out some pieces. You want to see it? Some
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah,
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
yeah. That'd be cool.
Gosh, I came across this guy on TikTok that is 3D printing like life-size Pokemon models.
Oh,
And he has this Mewtwo. Yeah, he has this Mewtwo that is
Yeah, this
3D
is-
printed that's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, Mewtwo's huge. He's bigger than a person.
This is I've still just been kind of fooling around with it because usually even when you get these, you download like these 3D models or you buy these 3D models from people online.
Mm-hmm.
There tends to be some
There's always something kind of wonky with it.
Yeah, that's-
irregularity. Yeah, it's an
it's like
irregularity in
putting
the.
the pieces together. And also when you use like you said, you have the same issues like with 3D resin machines or 3D printing. It's like sometimes it looks great on the computer, but when it actually comes out, there's like,
Again, it's a little bit, especially if you're working with resin, sometimes there's sort of a shrinkage that happens when you're working with like UV resin and stuff like that. Because a lot of times when I'm sending out, I'm setting up something for one of my printers, I have to try to kind of take into account that there's going to be a slight shrinkage. And so I want to slightly increase it up a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2% to kind of account for that.
Yeah, accommodate that. Yeah. It's it's all part of the
It's all part of, I consider it part of the learning curve.
Yeah, learning curve. But there's something else like that's also part of the adventure of doing it. It's like if everything was so easy, then
Everybody would do it. Yeah.
everybody would do it, and it would stop being fun. It's really the the problem solving aspect of it that I kind of enjoy. Trying to get and even if it's get it towards. I mean, some of these guys like Randy Cooper and some of these other people that exhibit like at Wonderfest, they really push you up even further than Mike Salzo. That's another guy we should get on, Mike Salzo.
Oh yeah, it's Mike Salzo.
Yeah, I mean those guys. the perfection that they do. Whereas with me, it's like I get it. I say, okay, this looks good enough. If I was to put this in front of a camera or whatever like this, or that's good enough, you know. It's that's one thing I found out that especially for like filming miniatures is that they didn't like agonize over the little details on a lot of stuff. You know, they just if it looked good on film or on the camera, that was good enough because you had a whole lot of other work to do. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Yeah, there's Pierce Films which I watch on YouTube. It's called Sense of Scale,
oh yeah, I got
and I love that channel. I watch that channel all the time whenever I'm gonna build a model or whenever I'm thinking about something like that.
that a show or
And
is that a film? Because I have the film. There's a film called Sense of Scale.
well,
But is
no, it's a whole series on YouTube, and they keep adding to it. So they
Oh.
have like they have the Burton Pierce like videos. They have the one they had was Outland,
Mhm.
and it was Bill Pierce and
Well, Bill Pierce, he's an English guy, right?
yeah,
Yeah. He used to write for
yeah
that magazine. Yeah.
Bill Pierce and the guy who did all the model. I can't. Oh my god, I can't even think of his name. The guy who did all the models for Space 1999, all the Thunderbird models.
Bauer, Martin Bauer.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Yeah.
Martin Bauer. They incorporated after Alien, and they had to basically create their own company to make these models because they were making. But when they did Outland, the producers came to them and said, "Hey, can you make this model?" And they gave them a painting to look at, and they were like going, and and Martin Bauer said, if we're going to do these models from a painting, it's not going to take 4 months because they wanted all these models in 4 months. He goes, it's going to take 4 years, for me to do exactly what you see in that painting. He goes, and the guy goes, well, I never met a model maker and a designer. He goes, well, now you have, because we have to use what we have on hand. So they did all the models. They did all this paint work, on the models. I guess back in the day they did Aztecing, which was to paint it in such a way that it looked like there were individual welded plates on, to the model. And they made this I believe in Outland there's this section called the greenhouse, and it's supposed to be a greenhouse for the entire facility on the planet Io, and it's a mining, it's like a mining. I'm sorry.
It's a moon, not a planet.
Well, no, well, yeah, sorry,
Wait.
moon. Sorry, the moon, Io. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Strike that, reverse it. So, but they did all. I remember reading the article in Starlog when Starlog was the big thing, and Martin Bauer actually used a medical scalpel to cut panel lines in and do all this panel work. He did all the panel work on the stuff, brought it to the studio. They got their check, they left, and then they got called back because when they moved I guess the studio guys moved the model, they must have dropped it, and it broke or whatever, and they were called back to fix it. But when they came back, all of that work that they did with the panel lines and the scalpel and all the other stuff was just undone. The studio guys used an automotive paint sprayer gun to spray it white. They just sprayed the whole thing white, to put it in the scene because they couldn't get a depth of field,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
off of the lighting when they did, and the same thing happened with the shuttle. That the shuttle for Outland that's supposed to land,
Yeah.
with the assassins who were supposed to, like go after Sean Connery, the marshal.
Right.
They built, the producer goes, well, they went to Martin Bauer and they basically just said, "Hey, we want you to build the shuttle." And him and Bill Pierce did the shuttle, but they did four. I think there were like 4 landing gear feet, and it had to each with it, each foot had like repetitive, I guess, like greeblies or detail. So they had to buy, I forget what he said. They bought 25 or 27 of the same Airfix kit so that they can get those little greeblies and put it onto the thing. So they did the whole thing. But yeah, it was. So that's what they did. That's what they did back in the day. Now we have mold rubber, we have resin.
3D printers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. With 3D
Like we're
printers.
Yeah.
You can scan those parts and reproduce them on the 3D printer now. So,
Right.
yeah, it's
Right. Yeah.
a different era. So,
So it was just a different era. So, but yeah, things like that, like, because a lot, if you look at the Space 1999 miniatures, the Eagles and stuff, they used a lot of Apollo, detail. Like there
you mean
is.
like from the Apollo program, Space Steve. Yeah, that
Mhm.
in fact on that shuttle, there's one thing. Even when the theater, that was I noticed that they used the one of the bottom thruster sections. I think from the second stage of the Saturn V
Right.
as part of the shuttle's feet. That was like one of the few times I was like watching the movie. I said, "Hey, that's from the Saturn V." I recognize.
Yeah.
You do a whole
He
show
used-
on identifying the parts, the model parts when you see them on. But yeah,
I do that. I do that now. There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Todd Morton. He does Todd's Corner, and he's basically involved with Space 1999. So my friend John McCallum, I don't know if you know John, we'll have him on the show here. You know Eric Longstreet, right?
yes, definitely.
Okay. Eric, we call him the Greebly Master because he's been identifying those parts for certain things, and he'll say, "Oh, that's that part," and he'll actually go out and buy those kits. He'll buy those kits, and now that I taught him how to mold stuff, he'll reproduce those parts. So now he has like a comprehensive collection of parts. He has these molds that he did, and he has like pipes. He has like a mold with just pipe, sections and stuff, and pipe detail and all this other stuff. But he had come to me the one time and he said he was going to build the Canaris shuttle from the original Battlestar Galactica. And the Canaris shuttle, the body of it, it's the F1 Indianapolis, car body. And that's the main body of the shuttle. But basically, it's like the car body, and then it's like a copy of the car body like that, put upside down, and then it has all these greeblies, all this other detail. So he had found the Ford F1, Indianapolis car model. I think it was like a 1/12 scale. It was $500, and I was like, "All right." He goes, "I just have to find another one, $500, and then, I'll have the body of the Canaris shuttle." And I was like, "Well, wait a minute. Let's look at the I looked at the picture, the one day he sent me all pictures of it, and I said, so wait a minute, you're going to buy another model that's going to cost $500 just so you can get the body?" He goes, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "Well, if you made a mold
Yeah.
of the top, if you made a mold of the one part and then did two pulls and put them together, you would have the body." And he goes, "Well, how do you do that?" And then I showed, and then I showed him. Now he's a mold making fool. The guy just, I mean, he molds everything. He's like, I can mold this now. I can mold that now. I can make this. Our friend, our mutual friend Jeff Polizato, who had passed away, I believe it's been it's been a year now. Yeah.
I think it's more like 2 years.
Is it 2 years? 2 years. Yeah. Um, they bought a what is the? I can't think of the name of the ship. It's it's a Star Trek ship. It's a starship. It has photon torpedo launchers on top. It has a large photon torpedo launcher on top, and then it has like 2 warp engines on the side. But it's not the Churchill. What is it called? I don't know. I can't think of these things. I have to get. I don't know. I just have to get Eric on. But yeah,
I'm looking, but I don't remember anything with the.
It has
photon
a very
launcher on the top.
large photon torpedo launcher on top. It it can fire forward and rear photon torpedo launchers. It's like a rectangular piece on top. If you look at the USS Krakatoa, design, that's basically what it is. It's a different design, but it has 2 warp engines. It has, a thing on top, he had asked if I could take a crack, if I could take a crack at actually molding. I tried molding it and it kind of came out okay, but I didn't have really a pressure pot. I had a vacuum pot, but I don't have a pressure pot. So, and he bought the pressure pot, and the pressure pot basically, takes all that bubbles, out of the castings, and the castings come out very smooth. So now he has a comprehensive, set of these Greeblies, but I've,
You know what I do now? You know what I do now? Instead of I used to do that. You know what I do now is that I've gotten into the 3D scanning. And I've got like 4 or 5 different scanner types.
oh,
If I find a part, or if I see like an interesting shape, what I do is I scan the thing in, and I get like a 3D representation. Now you got to clean it up a bit, in the program. But once I have it, then I'm able to scale it up or scale it down, or at whatever scale I want, or I can duplicate it or mirror it. And that's how I've been like making, like if I want to put like a Greebly or something like that on do it in the computer, and then I'll print it out.
oh, okay.
So I got to show you that someday. That stuff will blow your mind. So, but yeah, it's like, I don't mess with resin so much anymore, but.
Now, that's one thing I need to invest in is a 3D scanner.
Oh yeah, well, actually, if you're interested, I might have one for sale. Because I keep elevating it every time they come out with a new version. I'm getting it. So,
Then I'm going to have to, and I'm going to have to hit you up then, James,
Yeah.
because I'm definitely going to need one.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're really fairly easy to use, and though there was a huge learning curve with that too. With everything. With anything.
Yeah.
It's always,
Because there was
so they're difficult. I mean, we got a question in the comments on YouTube, and they're asking. Stephen asked, "Does the scanner work well, and are they hard to use?" And that's a question I cannot answer.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're not hard to use. It's just just kind of getting your understanding how it works, and the proper angles, and there's different types of scans. You could do a whole show on scanners at some point, but initially when I first started getting into it, I was really frustrated, and then as the software got better and better and made it easier and easier, now it's almost like second nature to me. I look at,
good.
okay, I need to orient it this way, but once you've got it, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, because I've seen apps on iOS and on Android for for doing 3D scanning, and you can use your phone or your tablet's camera in order to do it. And it's
Those are okay. That's where I started.
yeah,
at,
it's okay, but it's what I tried doing it once, and it was just so much. It just became a lot more work to try and
Yeah.
fix it than just to draw it from scratch. So I figure is that I need to actually get an actual 3D scanner.
So
Yeah.
this was like a self-contained thing. So ordinarily you would have that, like some of the earlier scanners, you'd have to hook it up to a computer to do the thing. But now with this version I got like a year ago, this one's actually portable, and it does it all in the thing. You don't need the computer, and it does it in full color and everything, and pretty good accuracy. And
I guess you're taking that to Wonderfest, huh?
Oh, I took this to Winterfest. In fact, I'm sorry, I'm giving away all this stuff from the first show here. I'm sorry if
That's
I'm
all right.
in a monopolizer, and I'm very enthusiastic about this stuff. But this right here, this is actually, I don't know if anybody knows Mark Maddox, but
No.
I use that scanner, and
Mhm.
we were sitting because we share a hotel room at Wonderfest, and anyway, I scanned Mark in.
Oh, nice.
Because he wins this thing called the Rondo every year. I know, have you heard of the Rondo Awards? You know, it's like, for like
It's
best DVD release, or and
it sounds it sounds familiar.
Okay.
like a horror science fiction like Academy Awards kind of thing. So but they do it at Wonderfest. But anyway, but Mark usually wins for like best artist of the year, and because he does a lot of magazine covers and book covers. But anyway, so I made like a joke version of the Rondo Award, but with his face on it. And made the ears bigger too, but that's an example of like what you can do with it, and just printed that up in resin, but it's extraordinary. It's really extraordinary. So you could put yourself into a model if you want, make
Yep.
yourself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I have a 3D rendering program that I also use in just kind of in conjunction with slicing programs and just
Yep.
like the basic 3D building.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm actually able to use to like pictures of people and create models from that, which they're okay. I mean, computer does as best it can, and so in order to basically get your features as accurate as it can. And so I said it works with about 98 to 99%, kind of accuracy. So it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. It's different. A lot of different ways to skin the cat, as they say. I hate that expression.
Right.
Because you have cats. I have
Yeah, I
cats
always
too. You don't want to.
Hey, so I said, don't say that. I said, there I am. I'm just saying it. So. Yeah. So.
Yeah. When I was talking to John McCallum, because we were working on we work on a bunch of projects together, and he's a terrific 3D. He knows his stuff. He works mainly with FDM printers. He does have a new resin printer. He uses Lightwave to design, like to use complex polygons, framework to create 3D prints. And I was like, "How do you use light?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, you just take it, you throw it in the Lightwave, blah blah blah," and then he just, he does his magic, and then he just prints it. So I can show you. Let me see. Turn off my camera. I'll turn off my background here. I'll show you. So let me see if I can.
Oh, I was wondering where that E3 robot was. It kept like appearing and reappearing on your thing, and I didn't realize you had it attached to your microphone there.
Oh, it's attached to the microphone.
Yeah. Okay.
So this
The
this is
Invader.
the three. Yeah, this is the Invader's gun
Yeah.
that John had 3D printed for me.
Yeah. That's been on my to-do list.
Well, if you want one, tell me or tell him, and he'll be on, and then But this actually, it doesn't fire. Well, it doesn't fire, but I mean, if you pull the,
That's cool.
yeah, I mean,
Nice.
like a
That's pretty
spring-loaded
cool.
Piece,
Yeah.
you know, it's all bolted in.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, it's an FDM print. I can tell.
Yeah, but that's one of the things he was I was making. But I was the 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 thing I've been experimenting with now is resin and cardboard
Oh yeah.
to infuse
Mhm.
cardboard with resin under vacuum, so I can make plates. I can make like these plates. So if I wanted to make a 4-foot Star Destroyer, I don't have to make it now. I can make it completely out of resin, but it would be very, very heavy. The
And expensive.
cardboard,
A little bit, yeah.
And expensive.
yeah,
Little bit, just a little bit.
That's the expense, yeah. So what I've been looking at is I wanted to buy a model of the Super Star Destroyer, which I've always loved, the Darth Vader one from Empire Strikes Back, and actually build a studio scale model of that. But I wanted to do it with cardboard, and you could basically
okay.
get good, get like good reproduction. The one thing I found with the resin and cardboard, because it is a resin surface, if you wanted it smoother, you can take styrene sheet and glue it to the resin, like portion of the cardboard. So it's cardboard underneath. It's very light because the models I used to make before, the studio scale models I used to build before for people, were made out of wood. That have like certain baffles make like a framework, like you were actually building a ship model,
Right.
and make these baffles, and I was like, and I had PVC through them, and sometimes I use PVC. It depends, but like like the original Star Destroyers for Star Wars were made out of Perspex, and
Yeah.
it's a very thick,
Yeah, that's a tough,
like
tough material to work with.
yeah,
Yeah.
like like the original studio scale Battlestar Galactica,
Perspex.
all Perspex. I mean, but
I think it was I think it was some of those behind the scene pictures of them building the Battlestar Galactica that made me start working with Perspex initially way back in the 70s.
yeah,
A teenager, and because I couldn't find sheet styrene anywhere, other that weren't. I mean, sometimes they have it like at a hobby shop, but very rarely. But Perspex was, but boy, it was a pain in the ass to work with.
yeah. Yeah, if you wanted to get shards underneath your, like underneath your fingernails, I've always had that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like when we, like we started doing like the lighting and stuff like that, and started working with, I started with glass optical fibers. I used to get them from Edmund Scientific. It was a magazine that had all the scientific stuff. They used to actually sell like a lot of telescopes.
Yeah, I have one, or I think I still have one. Yeah.
Glass fibers. It's like bamboo shoots underneath the fingernails. That's what it was like. That was like working with glass fibers, putting that into the Enterprise, and all of a sudden it would break off as just as you were putting it in, and it would break off and go right underneath your finger, and you go, ah, you'd be like, ah, and at the end of doing Enterprise, you're like, I hate this model. I really hate it.
That's when the model learns to fly.
Right? That's when the model becomes aerodynamic.
So, but yeah, I was going to mention one of our sponsors of this show was Tenna Controls. Come on, Ralph.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
I met him like I think it was like the first or the second Jersey Fest, and we were talking about I bought a few kits off of him, but yeah, good stuff, really good stuff. I think my War Machine has his
Yeah, the Martian War Machine. I remember I met Ralph Tenaglia from Tenna Controls at my first Jersey Fest was 2015, and I met Tony Pacetti there, And I'm also met Dave Evaldi. Dave Evaldi, we actually have to have on. Dave has some fantastic models. He does fantastic model work. But Tony said to me, he said, like he said at the thing, he said, I have the Seaview. He had the 37-inch Seaview, which I have the model now, and I haven't built it yet. And
Same here.
he said, I never win for this model. I never win. And I was like, why? He goes, I don't know. It just doesn't pop. It doesn't. So the next year, I picked an episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can make a stand for it that would be kind of like a diorama. And I made the Deadly Creature Below.
Yeah, I remember
The
that.
the big seaweed monster that's in Lost in Space and stuff.
Yeah.
That stand I put, I made for his model. I won for Deadly Creature. I think I won a silver, and then he finally won for his Seaview. He was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I won!" Okay, there you go.
Yeah, his
But-
seat was amazing. I never understood why it never, because remember when he entered it just alone, and I was like, wow, that was really really impressed with that model. Yeah, I don't know why he did. Yeah, I guess
It had the
context is everything.
it had those two little stupid stands that went into the model, the gold thing, and he put it there, and I was like, I discussed it with him. I said, we really have to put it into a diorama. We have to, and he goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to go and I said, I will try to find, the flying sub in that scale. I forget what the scale is. Excuse me, but I found the flying sub. They made a accessory kit for the 37-inch Seaview. It had the
that's-
flying sub. It had the original sea sled from the original Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the 8-window version, and then it had the diving bell. It came with the diving bell, and everything was to scale for that model kit.
Right.
So I had I remember lighting. I think I have a picture of it. Let me see if I can get a picture here.
Is it bad that you've got me browsing his website now? I'm like, oh, look, he makes lighting kits for the model that I'm building.
He's
Yeah,
got some
right? And
really
then-
great stuff.
And then just not only that, it seems like he's got like every light for every model for everything.
I know. Like, his
And
catalog's
he actually
huge.
has it in stock and available. Unlike I won't mention some of his competitors, but who seem to never have anything in stock. So
We
see.
don't-
So, right, yeah, and
If he's a sponsor of this show and I get a light kit for this model, I will get it from him. Yeah, just
I
let's just
can't
look his website up.
see.
He brings up a name. Let's go look. Oh, look at that right there, first thing on the page.
Can't
all right.
My light kit.
can't see the video background too well.
see the sub, and I see part of the creature.
Yeah, this piece is the flying sub. Let me see if
From like a modeling convention.
that was the Jersey Fest convention
Okay.
we went to.
I think
Um,
it's still on Persephone.
Daddy's TIE fighter, right?
I'm trying to find.
Who's in charge of that now, George? Do you know who's in charge of Jersey Fest, or is it an orphan at this point?
I think it's an orphan. To tell you the truth, it didn't happen this year, and everybody called. Everybody called me, and I'm like, I don't know anything about this. You have to call them. Like, we're trying to get them. We can't get anybody. I'm like, okay. It was at the Hilton. Was it the
Yeah.
Hilton? No, sorry, the Marriott.
Yeah, the Newark Airport, Liberty. Airport.
Yeah, Newark Airport. Newark. I figured that they were gonna I figured that they were going to do it that way because then they could fly all the stars in for all of the things. Let's see.
It doesn't even look like their Facebook page was updated since November of 23.
Let's see if I can. I'm going to see if I could. Oh, I can't share the. Let me see here. I think I can put it into video. Background effects. Backgrounds. Now I gotta do it. Okay. Okay, where's Deadly Creature? It's around here somewhere. No, no, no. No, no, no. That's the ion cannon. No. Trying to find it.
Do those things on the conning tower there, was that motorized? I forget, what do they call those things? I forget on submarines. The thing that makes it go up and down.
Not the propeller, the rudders.
The rudders?
Yeah, but there's something else, but when it's supposed to actually make it go up and down. But I was just wondering if those that are attached to the conning tower, is that motorized?
No, it's just a. It's like a hinge. It just goes up. I mean,
Oh,
you
okay.
can like move it. You can move it up and down. I can't.
Yeah, I guess it's not an RC, so why would you have it motorized?
Steve Neal does have.
That's where I thought I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have him on, right?
Yeah. So I did put the flying sub into the hand of the creature, and it
Yeah.
was lit.
Yeah.
So that was the one that's to scale with the 37-inch. The strands I found a ghillie suit.
Oh,
They
really?
were. It was a camouflage kit for your gun if you're going to go hunting.
Yeah.
So I did that over the creature's body. I sacrificed one of my old memory foam pillows for that. So for like the body.
Did you like the latex there on the or is that resin? Where like around like where it's holding it?
That was resin over cardboard.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
really?
sorry. That was foam over cardboard.
Ah,
So I made kind of like a fin, out of cardboard, and then I just dressed it up with a little bit of foam, and then just brushed it.
with the great stuff foam, the expanding.
Yeah,
foam?
I love that stuff.
I
That's
know you
awesome.
do. Like you're the great stuff foam expert, man.
Try to find image. Let's see if we can find. Oh, that's a shot of the sea view. See, the things come out too. That I can't adjust the
Size.
video. Yeah, the size. But yeah.
Cool.
So this is Tony's sea view. Had the the detailed interior, the lit, the thing in the nose, all this other stuff, and then the stand. The stand was basically just the monster holding the the model. Trying to find just background effects.
Yeah, I remember that you walked into the room and that was the first thing that caught your attention was seeing that thing, toward the back. So it's
The guest was Jordu Shell, I think, on that in that Jersey Fest, and he came in. He goes, "I love this thing. I would love to have the whole suit. I could just walk around the suit all day and just go." Yeah, there it is. That's it lit. So,
Cool.
but
That's pretty cool.
It was a PVC skeleton, so you could put all the wiring through. So I did a PVC skeleton, and I just started building it up with foam. You know, just waiting for it to draw. You know, waiting for it to set up, building more foam, waiting for it to set up, and then yeah. So you could use so there's a lot of stuff you could do with foam. Let me try to find an image.
The only thing about foam that I wish that
Sculpted that out.
that expanding foam is, I wish you could use a hot wire to cut it. For some reason, I've never had any success with using a hot wire cutter, like you can for like XPS foam, like the. Like
Oh yeah. I've that foam can be cut with a hot wire, but you cannot use the thin nickel
the guitar
foam,
string.
cutters. You can't use those.
Yeah.
Those are actually for styrene foam, like the white
Right.
stuff, like the white styrene foam. If you want to cut those and shape those, you need a wire that's about you need like
The heavier. Right.
yeah, like a good thickness, like about an eighth of an inch, about an eighth of an inch in diameter. I had asked Steve Neal about that, and he said that's the one he uses, but he uses a 24 volt power supply to cut that foam. It really burns it because it's supposed to be.
Yeah. That's more like a hot knife or something
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a hot knife and I've used it, but the thing I really use now is X-Acto, that makes the X-Acto blades. They make a saw for balsa wood. That's what I use for foam when I'm carving out the foam. So that's what I use for the Invader saucer that I was building. I'm building the 24-inch Invader saucer.
Oh, you know what? I think I still have one of that. I think you sent me one of those, or gave me one of those plates there, that nameplate there, that Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea nameplate.
Oh yeah.
I remember you sculpted out of clay or something, then you made a mold, and then you out of resin.
I have the smaller one. I have the larger one.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can't see that picture. I redid the hands and I redid the face. You can't see the face on it. So it's just the way the pictures come into Zoom for some reason. Zoom zooms into them too much. So
Yeah,
what?
We'll have to look into that. There's got to be a technical solution for that. So
Well, the only way that I know of is to actually take that picture and make it into a aspect ratio that'll fit into Zoom.
yeah, just find out what the maximum is on Zoom, and then I guess just rescale it. There you go.
Right.
Already saw. Yeah. The IT nerd.
But yeah. So let's see. So one of the things that so I did all this with the X-Acto knife. This is the Valley of the Gods diorama, the mountain for Airwolf that I did.
I don't remember. Maybe I saw that. I don't remember if I saw. Was that?
That was at MosquitoCon.
Oh, yeah. Was it? If it was at this recent one, I haven't gone to MosquitoCon in a while.
Yeah, MosquitoCon is at the Wayne PAL.
I had a bit of an incident with somebody there last time, so.
What happened? Come on.
We're not talking politics.
It was okay. It was a heated political discussion.
Well, it got to be, and I don't react well to some comments, so it's yeah.
So things were said.
For another show.
So he said things were said and other things were said and those things.
Threats were made.
That's a nice detail, though. And I'm just over here,
This
like,
was the-
squinting. That's the Airwolf.
Yeah,
a
that's the
Blue
Valley of the
Thunder.
Gods. This is the one that Tony wanted me to do. And he goes, I want you to put the red on the side. Why? He goes, well, and it's a more accurate representation that the thing was cut in half. And I was like, nobody's really going to like that. And they just didn't like it. And I was like, okay. But
It is what it is. Yeah, it
yeah,
looks good. Great.
it was, what are you going to do?
And I was sitting over here squinting at it, and I'm like, you know what? You can move the zoom screen to one of your other large monitors. You don't have to squint. Like, wow, technology, girl, use it.
One of the, all right, so, where was the other one here? Oh, that's the Canara shuttle. That's basically the F1, the Ford F1 body. You know, if you could see it in the front there, and it's the same on the bottom. So that's the Canara shuttle from Battlestar Galactica. That's the actual.
That's the new Battlestar Galactica, right?
No. That's from the old one. That's from
Really?
the old one.
Raptors. They use the Raptors in the new one, and Raptor looks way different. It looks more like a colorless helicopter.
Really,
thing.
that's why it's been a long time since I watched the original PSG. So, yeah.
It was probably in single digits the last time I saw it.
I forget who did the kit. Somebody did the Eastern Alliance ship, and a lot of those. I believe the front part of the ship is actually one of it's the Ford F1 fairing, the front fairing for the windshield, and some of the engine mounts for that. For that.
Is that
But-
an X-wing? Is that an X-wing? I'm looking at that shuttle picture. Is that an X-wing wing on there on the toward the back there with the red stripe on it?
No, it's a. I think it's from. It's either from the F-16 rudder, or the F-14 rudder. I'm not sure. It's one of it's one of the rear wings. But
I guess that decal kind of made me think it was from an X-wing. But yeah.
No, I get it. It looks like it's in the shape of one of the wings on an X-wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
can't find deadly. Can't find the deadly creature. My other project I'm working on is that.
Oh.
The Permelian battlecruiser from Samaritan Snare, episode of the Next Generation. But if you that model is actually in Night of the Creeps.
Really?
It's the space. It's the. It's actually turned upside down in Night of the Creeps. It's the spaceship that the virus escapes from, and is sent to Earth in this canister. So one of the crew is infected and takes the canister, puts it into the airlock, and blasts it out. In the front of the Permelian, they used it for the Next Generation episode. The one where the Enterprise is caught in an asteroid field. They go to explore this ship.
Booby
It's called the
trap.
Permelian battlecruiser, and then there are these asteroids that are actually some sort of phase emitters, and they're emitting this deadly electrolytic
It's like
stuff.
it's like a radiation, is what.
Yeah, it's like a
They suck
radiation
the ship's
field.
power and then emit it in radiation. But yeah, the episode's called Booby Trap. That's the one where Jordan.
Oh,
falls in
it's
love.
booby trap.
And-
Sorry.
Yeah, he falls in love in the holodeck
Okay.
with the designer of the Enterprise,
Oh, that's right. Leah Brahms.
Brahms.
Leah
Brahms.
Yep.
Leah Brahms. That's it. All right.
I actually know a guy that was in Night of the Creeps, one of the actors. So I think
Tom. Oh,
he played the cop. No,
Tom Atkins.
no, Bruce Solomon.
Oh, Bruce Solomon.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
It's been so long.
Oh,
since-
it's a horror film. First I've
but it's
you're not going to be watching it.
oh, not a horror fan. Huh? Okay. Yeah.
So
never
no,
seen. I have a couple. There are a few I can watch. I mean, like, I would argue that like Alien is probably one of the most terrifying sci-fi space movies, but it doesn't scare me in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why.
so no.
Yeah, you're
Gretchen famously does not do horror.
Yeah. My wife won't watch horror movies, but she'll watch horrific science fiction movies, which I was like, well, what's the difference? I mean,
Yeah, it's just
it still
because-
scares the crap
because
out
in
of
your
me.
head, because in your head you know it's not real. Like,
Yeah.
like think of it this way: like I can watch a gory movie and it doesn't bother me at all, but if I watch a surgery show where they're doing surgery on people, I
Yeah.
freak out because I know that's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a
Yeah, that's,
horror movie, it's just
Yeah.
blood and paint and all that stuff. It's not,
Yeah, if there's
no, it's
something
not
like
real.
somebody's got a gunshot wound or they're having to do something that's like a medical procedure, yeah, I have a problem with that. I was like, what is that show we watch with my Outlander? I watched that show Outlander with my wife.
Oh yeah, Outlander. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A great show, but but for some reason they love to really focus in on those like wounds like from like a musket or something like that, and there's like this horrible
Yeah.
wound. I was like,
It's like, yeah, no, I don't need to see that. I'm good.
Well, actually, George, actually, I have to drop. But it was at 3 o'clock mark. But
Okay.
so anyway,
Thank you very much for being on, and
yeah, definitely, yeah, enjoyed this. So yeah, we'll keep it going.
yeah, just
I
keep
look
it going.
forward to seeing some of your
Absolutely.
work, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I talk enough. Just tell me to shut up. By the way, I
We're all nerds here. I think talking is what we do.
so. All right, guys. Well,
So-
it's a pleasure. See, I think I met you guys before. I know I'm pretty sure we met like on the one call a while back. But
On the Zoom meeting, yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, but looking forward to seeing more of you guys.
Okay. You too,
Awesome.
James. Thank you so much for being on.
Don't be running out of subjects on this show. That's for sure.
No.
Oh no.
Or pictures.
That's take care.
Bye, Jay.
Take care.
So, does anybody have anything they want to show or see or do or?
You know
I
what?
won't have anything to show. I'll let Gilbert if he does, but I'm not going to start showing the model. I'm going to get the trimming done, shaving,
Hmm.
Okay.
and then I'm going to start painting it, and then you'll start to see some progress because I'm going to
Okay.
paint it before I assemble it.
I
Yeah.
was thinking about because cause I said how can we monetize the channel, and I was like, well, if we can create a separate Model Citizen channel where you can show how you're doing what you're doing, like show
Yeah.
show a model being built, show a design being sculpted. I'm gonna try to do something like that. I'm gonna have to do it with my phone. I don't have it like any type of professional video equipment or anything like that, but I'd have to start small with my phone and then do a video like that.
Hey, we all
And
got to
then
start
do a
somewhere.
Channel. I'm sorry.
I said we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, all got to start somewhere.
Whatever works.
Can't start with that
Mhm.
Aeroflex camera with the
Right?
with like the Steadicam. Just can't do that right off the bat.
I
I mean,
mean,
come on. I did Rules of Nerdquisition with Gilbert for almost a year using an Xbox gaming headset. Before I actually got a microphone and a real studio headset and an actual webcam that like
so I used.
stares into the soul of all my pores and all that stuff.
That's right. I used a USB like headset, just a plain
Yeah.
regular schmegular.
Like
Yeah.
like that.
First time we did plot holes, I was using this thing.
Yeah.
That's what I use for meetings at work.
That's what it says there. We've
Horrible quality.
upgraded our stuff.
I'm hoping Model Citizen will take off the way I guess Rules of Inquisition has, and the help desk is trying to find its footing. I babble on about movies and stuff like that because I love movies, and like I love cinematography. I always
Yeah.
loved my cinematography class in high school, and I always thought I was going to go into the movies and do all that stuff, and I never did. But if it takes off, the monetization of this show should go to actually making this. Well, some of it's going to go to me to make you stuff because I have resin now. I have that plastic chain that we're going to use for
Right.
for the kryptonite stuff. So everybody's going to get a kryptonite thing here, our show hosts. So we can all wear our kryptonite things around our necks while
Right.
we're doing the show,
Right. Absolutely.
And then
Some people have gold chains. We have kryptonite on.
So I mean,
Eat your heart out.
oh my god, I have it right here.
so but
Brown.
I had I'm working, kind of designing on doing a Borg sphere, because I see on Amazon that they have like the little desk floating magnetized floating orb things, and so I figured that if I could somehow make a Borg sphere like shell and put it around that little like floating ball in the middle of the whole thing, and
have a
then
floating-
I'd have my own floating Borg sphere.
That would,
Right.
that would be very
How
cool.
big was it? How big are you going to make it?
I think I want to say the ball is around like 5 to almost 6 inches in diameter.
Oh, that's too small. Come on. I'm sorry.
George is
I'm
over
about
here
the
like it
studio
must be
scale
6
stuff.
feet in diameter.
No, not 6 feet in diameter.
Yeah, no,
Only put it in your garage because
because that's the only way to fit.
or mom or husbands or wives are like, nah, that ain't going to.
So no, I'm making a life size a Borg sphere model. It's gonna be about the size of the Earth. No, but I will say there's one I want to show, because and this one I want to direct specifically to Thomas, because for whatever reason he keeps bringing up the GoBots. And nobody likes the GoBots. No one.
He even even was texting us, and I was in bed still, and he started that nonsense
It's-
this morning.
It started about the GoBots. So anyway, a while back, I printed a Rodimus Prime. So, unfortunately, part of the Rodimus Prime, his arm fell off, and so I have to reprint him all over again. But still, it's still pretty freaking cool. A lot better than Psykill. But anywho's, let me show you real quick.
Okay. I'll probably end up making it, that's out of cardboard, and making it life size. Oh, that's pretty awesome, man.
Nail it.
No.
Wow.
As you can see, I haven't painted them yet, but it's still in black resin and incredibly detailed. So,
Yes.
and you can kind of see
That's pretty cool.
where he is the Power of the Primes version of Rodimus Prime. And there's a little known series on YouTube that was sponsored by Machinima. And this is the version of Rodimus Prime that they drew. And again, this is to prove to Thomas, nobody likes the GoBots. Rodimus Prime is more popular than the GoBots.
There
He does
is
not
a
like Rodimus. He does not like Hot Rod. He does not like Rodimus Prime. He's very.
He is very anti-Hot Rod, anti-Rodimus.
If If Scoot is your thing, you know.
And here's the thing.
There's a thing I use. It's a it, it's a medium. It's called. It's from Industrial Polymers. It's called Hydrospan. So if you make a mold of that, okay, if I make like a silicon mold of that, and put Hydrospan into it, cast it in Hydrospan, and then put Hydrospan into a bucket of water for 2 weeks, it'll get larger. So it'll be twice the size of what it is now. So that's how they do amusement park attractions. They'll sculpt something out,
Right.
and then they'll make it with Hydrospan, and then from that Hydrospan, casting that gets real big with the water, you basically make a mold on that after it sets up, and then you keep making larger and larger versions of that. So you could possibly make that. Well, I mean, that would be a lot of resin, and it would it would weigh a ton.
Jeez.
But you,
So there's this one printer that I saw. It was on Facebook.
is it the Elegoo?
No, I don't think it was the Elegoo.
It's the real big one, that real big printer.
I don't think I can't remember the manufacturer. I don't think it was the Elegoo. But
it could be the Bamboo. Maybe it's the Bamboo one.
now, Bamboo usually make really, really large printers. But this one's actually kind of interesting because instead of having like a normal, like a resin, either vat or a build plate for, like a FDM or something like that, it was actually in a gel cube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's one I told you about on I told you about that one the one time on
Yeah, but
on Help Desk.
yeah, but they actually on this one it showed like an actual demonstration of how it works.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't need any supports.
yeah,
The
the craziest thing. And I was like, oh my God. I think I want that, but I know I can't afford it. There's some things you instantly you can't afford. And that's one I know. Instantly when I saw it, I was like, I want it, but I know I can't afford it.
it's still in the I think it's still in the experimental stage because it's the gel that it's actually suspended in, the print is suspended in a gel. They did print out like a purse or something like that.
Yeah. They printed out
And
a
the purse
purse.
is flexible.
Yeah.
It's like a flexible.
It's a
thing
flexible
that they
resin,
use,
yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool.
It is, but
I mean,
but I know that
would
particular.
save on like that would save on filament. It would actually save.
Oh
on-
yeah, it would. But I would say that particular resin, flexible resin like that, is insanely expensive.
Yeah.
Like not quite as expensive as like the non-toxic FDA approved like resins, but
That
that's
that
almost
gel
there.
The gel medium that it prints in, that must be very expensive because if it's a large format printer like that, that's a lot of gel,
Yeah.
and you'd probably have to fill that up again, like
at least
with
like
over
a
time it would get. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's a really cool idea.
really cool.
because
It's really cool. A
you
really
have
cool
to
printer.
design I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said it was a really cool printer. Really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's a,
Right.
I mean, it's a really cool idea where because like usually when you're working with FDM printers, and some like the resin printers, you have to design the part that you're going to print with supports, supports that are going to, like actually break away. You're going to have to create something called the raft, which is something that the print sits on.
Mhm.
Just like pop it off, and all that takes like a lot of filament. They're using more filament to print something larger than you would if you use that printer. But I'm saying to myself, the technology that goes into that is expensive, but suspending it is it's a genius way to print it, but like over time, it's gonna cost like
The maintenance on it.
the
So-
maintenance alone is gonna be
The
like,
maintenance alone is going to be insane.
I
mean-
get like 2,700 FDM printers for the maintenance fee from that one printer.
The-
I didn't even consider the maintenance cost because I mean, like, have you seen it, right? Like on TikTok Shop and stuff, all these people are selling like buy these little eggs, and there comes little 3D printed miniatures of some animals or something. It's like
yeah.
every other ad on TikTok is like that now. Like, oh my god, how many people have a 3D printer and are pumping these thousands of these little animals out? Like,
Well,
No.
the
Seems to
thing
be working,
the thing I
though.
would use the thing I would use a 3D printer for is to print the actual master. That's what I would use it for. And then I would just basically make a mold of it and do it out of resin. You know, I could
Mhm.
pop out, 50 with pieces out of resin. I could use a resin printer if I wanted to, but a lot of people don't understand the cost of the resin. It's the cost of the resin printer. I understand that. But then you have a curing station because you need to cure it with UV light. It's a UV curing resin. Then there's a washing station. People go, well, why do I have to? And then you have to take all the fumes out that you're producing with the resin. So you need a fume extractor. You need a fume extractor hood. You need to vent that outside someplace. That's the same thing with like the laser cutter. Like when I thought I was going to get like the Glowforge, and I figured, oh, I'm going to get a Glowforge. And my friend
Mhm.
said, oh, do you have the cooling? Do you have the cooling station? I was like, what cooling station? Well, you need a cooling station to cool the laser.
Yeah. Once after you.
laser.
nobody
that
ever
thing.
thinks about
Nobody- yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, and they just don't think about it. And I was like, well, wait a minute. The thing is, it's like $6,000. The cooling station was taking was taking filtered water and putting it through a cooling station to cool the laser tube, and then you needed a fume extractor to take the fumes because you're basically using a laser to cut wood. Wood burns. It creates, fumes. So, or if you're cutting plastic or you're cutting, if you're cutting metal, you're actually creating these fumes. You need a fume extractor. I'm like, so all in all, I wouldn't be spending $5,000. I'd be spending $12,000, on all this stuff to get it all, to make it all, so I could print out these things. And I said, it's like, you know what? It's easier for me just to print out something on a piece of paper, put it over clay, put it over like a clay bed, take an X-Acto knife and cut it out, take the excess clay off, mold it, and it's done. And I have the thing that, I could do it more accurately with the laser if I had it, or a CNC machine, or a 3D printer. When I was at when I was at Steve Neal's, he said, I don't use a 3D printer. They never used a 3D printer back then. They never had that technology. And I said, I understand that. He said, if you know how to do it, he goes, computer, 3D printer. And I was like, okay. He goes, if you know how to do it there, then that's good, because if your 3D printer breaks, you're going to have to figure out a way how to do it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. But a 3D, he said, people are using 3D printers now in ways that make him crazy. And it makes me crazy too, because people will put the product onto eBay and say, I made this model and, this model's $50. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $50 for something that I have to clean up. I definitely have to clean it up because it's got grow lines in it. It's got, it has, It has an inaccurate scale. It doesn't have a cockpit if it's a spaceship. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. And I'm like, I'm not paying $50 for that. You know. I mean, I'll pay.
It'd be like putting this thing together without shaving all the little pieces off. Just put it all together after you break the
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I
parts
mean,
off the mold and just leave the tabs there, the tags and stuff.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
full model, huh?
Yeah.
there was this guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he makes these weapons, and they're weapons from from classic sci-fi movies and classic, sci-fi TV shows. And there's solid resin. He makes the Invaders one. He makes the Forbidden Planet one. He makes all these other ones. And I bought one of his Forbidden Planet guns at a show. I got it home and I was like, I have the Forbidden Planet blaster. I'm so happy I got it. It's a da 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 da. And I opened it up, and it was pure junk. It was like the mold was distorted, so the mold master was distorted. And I said, I'd have to go back and recreate the gun myself. Why did I actually buy this for $5? I mean, I got it for $5. I think I got it on eBay. I'm sorry, I got it on eBay. But I went to one of his shows, and I opened up the box. He doesn't want you to open up the box because you'll see that some of the molds that he has, these 2-part molds, are mismatched. So there's a line in it. It has a lot of flash on it. Some are, pretty clean, but he didn't allow for shrinkage. He didn't allow for the gun to be, it's small in one area, it's large in another area. It's mismatched. Some of the pieces, some of the accessories that go onto the gun, like the Forbidden Planet blaster has three pieces. It has the emitter, which is clear, and even the clear had bubbles in it. You didn't take the care, you didn't care enough to vacuum out the bubbles of the clear. You didn't take care, or you didn't care about it. You threw resin into the mold, you let it harden, you took it, you threw it in the box, you slapped a sticker on it, and you mailed it. And somebody got it and they said, "Oh, I got the Forbidden Planet blaster." And then when you look at it, it's like horrible. It's the most horrible thing in the world.
Yeah.
It was like the back of the gun was round, but the gun itself was like pear-shaped like this. And I was like, I'd have to sand the entire thing down to make it rounder. Why am I going to do this when the back piece is round? So I put the back piece on and I was like, well, wait a minute. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the gun. And I was like, no, that.
If you're gonna,
And see,
know your
that's
business, if you're gonna, dude, put the care into it, the work. Have pride.
yeah. I mean, that's always been a huge problem in the 3D printing community is people don't want to put the post care, the post print work into making it look like a polished and professional type of prop or a model or anything like that. They don't want to take the time of sanding it down and doing the fillers like that. Because I personally, if I'm selling it, then yeah, I'm going to put in the time and the effort to sand it down and make it look absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But if it's just for me and it's just going on my shelf, I don't care.
If it's for you, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But it's not good enough if you're.
But if I'm selling it and I'm selling and I'm putting my reputation on the line, it's going to look absolutely flawlessly professional.
Exactly.
If I'm selling it.
Yeah.
If I'm just giving it away to somebody, then it'll be nice, and I will show, give same post print care, sand it down, make it look nice, you know, and prime it everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Because what happens with resin pieces, resin is it's porous. So if you make very thin sections of resin,
Mm-hmm.
over time it can warp. You know, the piece can actually warp. Case
Yeah.
of Star Trek, no pun intended, it'll warp. But like like the saucer sections.
And one thing that some people don't realize is that if you keep these, unless you're working with resin, unless you UV coat it, like once is cured and everything, then you give a slight, like a clear coat of UV paint. If you don't do that, it's, for whatever reason, if it stays out in the sun or if it's in a window or anything like that, it's going to warp because there's no UV protectant.
Yeah,
so-
you have to seal it.
Yeah.
You have to seal it. That's the same thing. Yeah, the same thing when I'm building if somebody asked me to build them a model or build them a chair or something like that. My reputation is going into it where I want it to last for a long time, and I will use good materials. I'm not just going to use balsa wood and like you're going to sit in it once and whether it's
Collapse.
Right.
and it's going to break and it's going to collapse. No, I will use good materials. I will use good wood, for it. I will use bolts for it to bolt it down.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure that and it would be something that I would, want, like I'm in my home or whatever.
Yeah.
So you want it to wear well. That's the thing that people don't understand. Whenever, when they see certain things, like when they see that, they can buy a Kirk chair, I guess, from a reputable place. It'll be made out of fiberglass. It'll have all the sounds and all the lights and everything. But
And it'll last a few months, but you want to
if you take care of it, it'll last for a few years.
Yeah.
But when I build something, my reputation is on the line there. It's like, well, this guy built it for me, and this guy blah 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 blah. No.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever, like when I built the chair, I put my card, my phone number. If you had any questions, you can call me. Okay, I put my card in the chair, or I laminated it to the wood or whatever. You can call me. And the one guy called me. I think the one guy who had the chair. I don't know if he called. Did he call me? Somebody else called me for something, and I said, "Well, what can I help you with?" And they said, "Well, you made this model. This fell apart. Where do you live?" "I live here." "Okay. We'll meet one Saturday. I'll help you with the model." And I helped this guy. I went to this guy's house. He goes, "I don't know what to do here." And I figured it all out. I said, "Okay, this is this, this is that." And I actually got one of the tenant control, kits, and I put that into his model. And I didn't charge the guy. I just said, okay, I helped this guy out. This guy then in turn, helped me out by saying, "Hey, this guy helped me do this, but he didn't charge me." But it's like,
Mhm.
you get a reputation of helping people.
Yeah. That's how you build your rep. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I'm working on the Rat Bat Spider now from Angry Red Planet. It's in the clay stage. It needs to be in the molding stage. I don't have the money for it. So, when I go to do these molds, they have to be 2-part molds. They're not going to be slush molds or 1-part molds. They're going to be 2-part molds. That's a lot of mold rubber. Then it's going to be resin. It's going to be on an aluminum skeleton. The aluminum skeleton is going to actually Like you'd be able to move all the pieces and move the arms and all the legs and all this other stuff. So it would be posable, almost like a maquette. Almost like a stop motion type of model that you would make for a movie. Okay, it
Right.
would be it'd be movable, it'd be posable. That's another thing you can give to your customer to make something instead of just a static model. You can have them pose it the way they want, and it adds another dimension to the model. The model is going to be made out of resin. Okay, it's a lot of resin, and the thing that irks the hell out of me whenever these guys do these creatures with fur on them, they always mold the fur. That is the thing that drives me absolutely insane. The Tauntaun kit. They make a 1/12 scale Tauntaun kit with the rider on it, and the fur is molded. I was like, why couldn't you just go to Amazon and go get the damn fur and glue the fur on so it looks like actual fur? It looks like it's real. That's the thing that kills me about these guys. I'm gonna mold it. I'm gonna sculpt it this way, and that's great if you're a great sculptor. If you want to sculpt, I don't want to do that. The Rat Bat Spider, I could show you a picture of it, but it's hairy. It's creepy. It's supposed to look like a spider. It's supposed to look like a bat. It's a rat, a bat, a spider. In the movie, it's 40 feet high. It's on the planet Mars, but let me see if I could try. I gotta block out. I'll try to find this thing here. Let's see. It's actually my background for.
When you were describing the Tauntaun, what makes me think of I had the action figure when I was a kid because
Oh yeah,
it didn't actually ride on it. Yeah, it was just a hard plastic piece. It wasn't furry. It wasn't like Moss Man from Masters of the Universe had actual like
Right.
glued on.
I like AstroTurf on it. Yeah. It didn't smell like a car air freshener.
that's a Rat Bat Spider.
Yeah.
So
spider. It's in the
It's
name.
creepy. It's in the movie, but it's the movie version of that is it's a 15-inch marionette, basically, because you can see the wires and stuff like that. And in the movie, it's very schlocky. In the movie, it's kind of like front projection or rear projection, put over live action. But that's the model I was going for. I've seen many models like that, over the years. The one that I saw that was about as accurate was the Lunar Models one, which I never got. Lunar Models made this. They also made there's like a giant jellyfish at the end that comes out of the the Mars seas, and it attacks the rocket ship. But that's basically what that thing is. So let's see here. I always got to block the camera. So there you go. Okay. So, but that's the thing that kills me. They'll sculpt the fur, and then you have to figure out how to paint the fur and how to make the fur. I understand that. If you're a modeler, that's fine. But wouldn't you just like to stretch the fur over, the model and make it into something that actually looks like the real thing from the movie? That's what people are going for. They're going for the accuracy, So.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Build something. I would try to make it somewhat accurate. I'm not going to cut corners, but I see a lot of people are doing that. Some people just want to make a quick buck.
yeah.
That's why that thing has taken me. I'm going on my 8th year trying to get that done, and it's just it's painstaking. You got to make sure this is right, that's right, So
Well, yeah. That's just kind of how it is. Yeah. When you're putting your reputation on the line, and and not only just it's just you, and you're going up against like these companies that make the products, and but they make it, where it looks flawless, but quality is hit or miss.
Yeah.
So, but you want to get something that looks the same as that, but has that quality that it lasts for, 10, 15, 20 years plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff with
Out of the bathroom. No, bring it.
Um,
Give it to me.
with
Give it to me.
trying to make a model of a classic monster or whatever, and then trying to sell it.
You leave the room.
You
Uh-huh.
don't have the rights to sell it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if I did the if I did the Rat Bat Spider and I did not have the rights, I would try to find who owns the rights to it, because if you start putting it out there, for people to buy, oh, it's the most accurate kit, it's wonderful, blah blah blah, and you start getting other modelers putting that
Mhm.
product in their videos, it's going to start gaining attention. Then you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, I put this product out, but I don't have the rights to sell it.
Right.
What happens? The person sues you, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, I sold,
I sold X amount.
yeah,
of-
X amount of kits, and these kits
Yeah.
were $500 a piece, and I got all this money, and I'm happy. I got, I got all
Yeah.
the recognition, but now you're getting recognized for being a thief because you
You-
didn't give the studio or
Say you didn't get
rights
permission.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get permission to do it.
Yeah.
I was like-
And so,
So one of those things, like, like whenever I do
I'm
creatures.
sorry to interrupt real quick, and I
Sure.
didn't know my mic was muted a minute ago. Autism will not be ignored any further.
I
So,
understand.
out of this and go deal
I'm
with
very
her.
sorry. This was supposed to be a
No,
one
no.
thing. It turned into
No, that's okay.
It's like
I'm
a-
fine
me
with that.
babbling. I'm sorry.
Either way, but yeah, she's to a point. She will not be ignored at this point. So,
Okay.
rather than make a spectacle online, I will go take care of that. But I will talk to you guys later.
All right.
and,
Take care.
See
Thank
you
you
next
so
time.
much.
all right, Gretchen.
Bye.
Take care.
So yeah, I think we can end this. I'm very sorry about that for babbling because I have other stuff to do.
So look at that. We're both babbling.
Yeah, I'm
and-
sorry. Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
didn't know how this was going to play out, and so
But no, no,
we
this-
keep to 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour is not enough time to talk about all the stuff we want to talk about. I know, but there will be other shows. So
But yeah, we have other shows. There'll be more time, and so yeah, we go ahead and end this thing. And so,
okay.
this is your
So
show.
we will end
You
it.
go ahead.
So you have been listening to the Model Citizen on GCPR Ghost Club Productions Radio. I'm your host, George Dayer. I am my co-host, the Angry IT Nerd, and James Lechner, and Barbara Yaga, who had to go, of course, and Transgression. And we will end the show. Hopefully next week, it'll be better because we'll be more structured. I'm very sorry about that. So, to all of our foreign listeners, we say thank you very much for listening to us. For all the people who were in the chat, we also say thank you very much. We also wanted to plug Tenna Controls again. Ralph Tenaglia at Tenna Controls, Tenna Controls, TENA, controls.com. Bringing models to light. I always thought it was bringing models to life. It's bringing models to life. Well, I mean, they do bring models to life, but
Yeah.
bring models to light. They are lighting kits for your models. Go to tenantcontrols.com. Ralph will hook you up with whatever you need. If you need any custom electronics, he can also do that as well. And I will show you a custom thing hopefully next week. Okay, this has been Model Citizen and on GCPR. And